is our first method was factoring. Then we did graphing, and remember graphing, we found the x-intercepts. The third method was square root, and the fourth method was completing the square. So today we're going to do quadratic formula. And the big idea here is you have to have it in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then you identify a, b, and c. So before we start hammering into that, we're going to pause a moment and look at something called the discriminant. And again, this should not be a new thing for you. You learned this in Algebra 1. The discriminant, okay, I want you to underline this. The discriminant, and I want you to circle b squared minus 4ac. The discriminant is what is underneath the square root symbol. And the discriminant is going to tell us what kind of solutions we're going to get. If it's a perfect square, then it's factorable. Okay, do you remember what perfect squares are? If you get 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, if you get those kind of numbers for the discriminant, then that means it factored. Okay, it means it factored. If it's positive, okay, and this right here means if the discriminant is positive, you get 2 real solutions. If it's negative, okay, number 3 is the way that we say it's negative. There's what we're going to learn this in 4.8. Today is 4.7. It has 2 complex solutions. And number 4, if it equals 0, then there's only 1 real solution. And so what I want us to draw here below is if I have 2 real solutions, just make any sort of parabola here. It can open up, it can open down, but in order for it to have 2 real solutions, it's crossing the x-axis in 2 spots. To have 2 complex solutions, that means it does not cross the x-axis. There are no x-intercepts. And you'll kind of have to just wait for me for tomorrow to figure out like what that part means. 1 real solution, watch this. 1 real solution is where the parabola almost bounces off in 1 spot. So when you're ready, flip the page, and let's actually look at some examples of this, okay? And so every equation has a corresponding graph. Okay? Every equation has a corresponding graph. So let's look at number 1a. It says find the discriminant. So let's write it down. B squared minus 4ac is the discriminant. So Hannah, on this one, what's a? What's the number in front of x squared? 1. 1. Good job. All right, Edward, what's b?
Is it 3 or is it 6? -6?
It's a -6, okay? And I'm getting this from ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? It has to be in the standard form. And then Alex, what is c?
10.
10. So you want to write down for the discriminant b squared minus 4ac, identify a, b, and c, and then we're going to plug it in. Be careful, we have struggled this year with our squaring negatives. So a -6 times a -6, you need to know is a positive. And my discriminant is -4. I want you to flip to the front, okay, flip back to the front page, and I want you to look at number 3 in the properties of the discriminant. Look at number 3. That says if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that means negative, then it has 2 complex solutions. All right, letter B, x squared minus 6x equals -9. So Chris, on this one, what do I have to do first before I can identify A, B, and C?
Bring over the constant.
Yes, okay. I need this to be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is put it in standard form. Then Ellie, what is A? 1. All right, Brooke, what's B? -6. And Luke, what is C? 9. +9. So here we go. B squared minus 4AC. So this is -6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. So this is 36 minus 36. That's 0. Flip it to the first page and go find what does it say when b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Mia?
Unrepeated solution?
Good job, okay? And we can just put one real solution or one repeated solution is okay.
Can we just put one solution?
Yeah, well, it has, you need to say, because we're going to get to real and imaginary numbers, okay? So we're going to have to start saying real. Yeah, because up to this point you only know about real numbers. You don't know about the imaginary.
Imaginary?
Yes, we're going to learn about some imaginary numbers. Okay, so David, what is going to be your first step on letter C?
Find A and C.
No, that isn't going to be my first step. Delaney, can you help us in letter C? What do we have to do first?
Set it or put it in standard form.
Put it in standard form, okay?
Yeah, Delaney.
So you're going to subtract the 6x. And then Josh, what is A in this one?
Did you?
1. All right, Cameron, what is B?
-6.
-6. And Jacob, what is C? 8. All right, so here we go. Let's do b squared minus 4ac. Then flip it to the front page and see what it means. So I get -6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 8. That's 36 minus 32, which is 4. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I just have a question. I can answer it too.
No, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, it says for if it's greater than 0, it says 2 real solutions,
Yes.
and the second one is complex, and the second one's repeated real. What are the?
Okay, so letter A, I got a negative, which is 2 complex solutions.
Right.
B was equal to 0, so it was 1 repeated real solution. And C is it's positive, so it's 2 real solutions. That first one just tells you, like, so if you get a discriminant of 4, which is a perfect square number, it could have been factored. That's what it tells you.
Oh, no, I know what I did. I just flipped the sign.
Okay. All right, here we go. Now let's actually get to solving one with a quadratic formula, okay? So Theron, what would be my first step in this one before I can use quadratic formula? Good job. Okay, we're going to put it in standard form. Okay, we're going to put this in standard form. Then Sophia, what is A?
1.
All right, Safe, what is B?
-4.
-4. Who's next? Tyra, what's C? 4. Here we go. So we're going to write x equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I strongly recommend you write this formula out, okay? And if you sing the song, it helps you with the parts. I love to give you partial credit on your quizzes and tests, but if you don't show me anything, I can't give you partial credit. If you write the formula out correctly, then you're on your way. So here we go. I have -4 plus or minus square root. It says square b, so that means I need to know, as the Algebra 2 student, that I am squaring the negative. That means there's a parenthesis around that -4. -4 times 1 times 4 Now, I've taught this a very, very long time, and for some reason, I see students who change the formula and they make it so that the fraction bar is only underneath the square root symbol. And that is not what quadratic formula says. It says the fraction bar is underneath the negative b. So be careful. Now, let's tidy this up. Negative 4 is 4, plus or minus square root. This is 16 minus 16 over 2. Do you guys see how I got that? 16 minus 16? Well, what is 16 minus 16?
0.
That's 0. Well, 4 plus or minus 0 is just 4. There's no more plus or minus symbol, right? Yeah, Mia?
If you already know, it's like, if you get a double negative, do you have to put the negative?
No, you can skip
just
it.
put 4?
Yeah, so, okay, Mia asked an awesome question. If you know negative b is a negative 4, you can skip a step and make it positive 4. That's okay. All right, now, I want you to pause and think here a moment, okay? Let's connect this. Let's connect it. The discriminant is what's underneath the radical. My discriminant, b squared minus 4ac is 0, right? The discriminant was 0. And look back to the first page again, okay? Flip your notes to the first page. And look at number 4 that says if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, there's only one repeated solution. Do you see we got one solution? If I graph this, let me make a beautiful connection here. If I happen to graph this, it looks like this. Look, and what they mean by a repeated is x squared minus 4x plus 4, this factors as x minus 2 squared, so it's repeated. X minus 2, x minus 2. Yeah.
When you do the plus or minus
Yeah.
number and then you divide it, if that was 1, would you do the plus or minus before you divide by 2?
Yes, so you would do 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 divided by 2 is one answer, and then 4 minus 1 would be 3 over 2. Okay, good question. All right, now, because this is somewhat review for you, I want you guys to try example 3 on your own. See how far you can get without me. It says, solve using the quadratic formula. X squared minus 18x equals negative 32. So, Julia, if somebody is sitting here stuck, what would you tell them to do first?
Put it in standard form.
Awesome. Put it in standard form. Then, write out your formula and identify A, B, and C. I'll tell you the square root ends up being a perfect square number. you guys check your papers and make sure your fraction bar is underneath that negative b, okay? Did you guys get a discriminant of 196? Are you guys there? All right, awesome. Now, if you're already there, what was the square root of 196? 14. So Mia, I'm actually going to answer the question you just asked me, okay? We're going to actually do it. So you asked a really good question. So look, and before I keep going, any questions along the path? Do you guys see what I did in each step? Is it coming back to you, quadratic formula from Algebra 1? Okay, so here you're going to have to do two answers. And watch, the discriminant is a positive. So you get two real solutions. And we are. 18 plus 14 is 32 over 2. So that's 16. That's one of my answers. And then I take 18 minus 14, which is 4 over 2. So make sure you circle or box that you get two answers. Yeah, David?
How'd you get 14?
I just used a calculator and did the square root of 196. It's actually a perfect square number. All right, any other questions on this one? All right, try the next one on your own. And I have a helpful suggestion. Do you notice right now that x squared is negative? What could you do when you're writing it in standard form to make your life easier? Instead of subtracting 2 from both sides, what could you do that would make your life easier down in the quadratic formula? Yeah, move the x squared to the other side and make your x squared positive. That would be a helpful suggestion. Okay, so move everything to the right side instead of moving the 2. Even though that's 2 things to the right, it'll make your life a whole lot easier if you do this. So in case you were unclear what I meant, I have 0 equals x squared minus 2x plus 2. So a is 1, b is negative 2, and c is 2. If you write out the quadratic formula every time, it's going to help you memorize it. You don't have to have it memorized, but it makes your life easier if you do know it. All right, something weird happens here. What's the weird thing that happens? You get a negative under the radical. Today, we need to say, we have to stop and say it's 2, because we don't know how to do this yet. It's 2 complex solutions, because if you flip, we don't know how to do it yet. But tomorrow we're going to find out how to do it. So you're not ever going to write down no solution, because there is a solution, but not in the real numbers yet. All right, you have